To kick off my TED Talk, I first want to take you on a trip down memory lane to a specific and often cringeworthy time of your life called high school. And if you're not already cringing at the thought of your high school experience, I'm about to make it worse because now I want you to think of the sex education course or lecture that you received in high school. If it's anything like mine, it's pretty painful to think about. And as you think back on that experience, I want you to reflect on a few things. Overall, did you find it informative? Did you learn about safe sex and consent? Did you discuss condom use and application? Did you learn about birth control and where you could get it if needed? Was your sex education inclusive? Did it discuss gender identity and/or sexual orientation? If anyone here can say yes to all of those questions, please raise your hand. I won't pick on you or ask you any questions. I just want to see, I'm curious. Okay, so not many. So none of this is surprising to me because existing sex education policies in the US are either non-existent or incredibly outdated. For example, sex education is still not mandated in all 50 states, meaning that there are still some states that do not require that sex education be taught in their public schools. In my home state of Texas, sex education is not required to be taught, and often it isn't, regardless of the fact that 38% of high schoolers report that they have had sexual intercourse. Of the 39 states who have mandated that some form of sex education be taught in their public schools, only 18 of those require that the information taught be medically and scientifically accurate. Further, less than 12 states provide a sex education that is LGBTQ inclusive and require that sex education be culturally appropriate and religiously unbiased. Now you might be thinking, so what? Why should we care that students aren't receiving a scientifically accurate, comprehensive, and inclusive sex education? Well, let's take a look at teen sexual and reproductive health outcomes on a global and national scale. On a global scale, the US has the highest teenage pregnancy rate among all other high-income countries, costing on average $11 billion per year. Nationally, 1 in 4 US teens are diagnosed with an STI every year, resulting in lifetime medical costs of new STIs being $16 billion. In order to reduce sexual and reproductive health disparities, STIs, and unintended pregnancies among adolescents, it is imperative that we reconsider current sex education policies. This begins with 1, mandating that scientifically accurate sex education be taught in public schools, and 2, mandating that it's comprehensive, meaning that it covers topics such as safe sex practice, consent, and birth control access, and that it's culturally appropriate, unbiased, and inclusive of LGBTQ youth. Such changes would not be harmful to US teens. In fact, at this point, it can only help them. It's time that our states and school systems take a look at existing policies and make the important changes needed to improve the sexual and reproductive health and future of adolescents in the United States. Thank you.